Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Archie's Briefings. I'm your host, Arshel Branch, and today, you guys, we are going to be talking about the immediate future for young Americans after this incredible sweep for America First and MAGA. Obviously, there are still some questions about the election as it relates to who has the House. Did Dave McCormick actually win the Senate? We shall see, because those numbers are still being counted. Same thing with Kari Lake. We shall see. But today, you guys, it's talking about the immediate future and how that affects we young Americans. Before I go ahead and get to the episode, you guys take the time and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can support the show by Cash Apping me at #RShelBranch. The link to the Cash App is directly in the YouTube description at the top of the page. Just head over there to donate to the show, support the show. You can also support by subscribing to this channel, sharing this video, liking this video so we can do something about the algorithm. Let's keep these numbers going. Well, without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and let's get into the episode, shall we?
There is something that has been on my heart that I did want to discuss. Discipline is a huge part of being productive, being lucrative. I am not for anything that goes against true productivity, true sovereignty of the individual. The choices that we make are what's going to be up for judgment.
Okay, you guys, so before we go ahead and get into the episode, you can take the time to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you like that show open the same way I love my show open, you can go ahead and you can head over to scoresomemusic.com so you can reach out to Matthew Torrance. He kicked butt on the music itself. If you're someone who's interested in becoming a podcaster and you need original music, why go to the robot when there is a talented human being like Matthew Torrance who is more than prepared to give you what you are looking for? Maybe you're a musician. You're great with the lyrics, not so great with the music. You need someone who is, reach out to Matthew Torrance at scoresomemusic.com. He did wonders for me, told him exactly what I wanted, what the style of music I liked, and he gave it to me. He delivered. So go ahead and reach out to Matthew Torrance on scoresomemusic.com. And let's go ahead, you guys. Let's get into the episode. Okay, so as I said in the opening, America First swept, right? I mean, my goodness, the numbers were incredible. I've had conversations with people literally the day before the election, the day of the election. They were saying, well, today's the day. Let's see how it goes. What do you mean, see how it goes? I wasn't nervous at all. I already knew what was going to happen. Orange Man is going to the White House. It's going down. Okay. I'm not concerned about the presidency. I know we got that one in the bag. I'm more concerned about the House and the Senate. It looked at me like I was insane. What do you mean you're not worried? You really don't think Kamala could win this? No, she can't win this. Her numbers are dismal. She barely ran a campaign. It certainly didn't help her of the fact that the left had a coup, a silent, peaceful coup against Joe Biden. His numbers are obviously better than hers in 2020, even just in the time that she was running against Trump compared to Joe Biden in this time that he was running against Trump this time around. She didn't have it, okay? She was talking down to men. We saw the desperate ads. And let's talk about young Americans, right? Trump got more of the youth vote than Kamala Harris did. They didn't trust her. They didn't like her. Some of them didn't like the fact that they lost the opportunity to actually pick her over Joe Biden or pick another candidate over Joe Biden because they were denied a primary. Have to acknowledge that. That's a very big deal. I'm a little sick and tired of people telling me like that's not a big thing. No, it is. They said that we America First MAGA individuals were insane when we're talking about the problems with 2020. And here, you didn't even get the chance to vote for Kamala Harris over Joe Biden because you were never given a primary. She was appointed, and that appointment, guess what? That cost the Democrats greatly. Nancy Pelosi is crying. All of these lefties who voted for Kamala Harris are obviously so sad. I was waiting for leftist tears. One thing I was excited about. It's like, nope, I had them for breakfast. I was looking forward to it. I got my congratulation calls. Well, your guy won. Yeah, he did. And it's not about him. This is about America First. This is about prioritizing our homes, our families over the rest of the world. That doesn't make us xenophobes. That doesn't make us evil. That doesn't mean we don't like ourselves as women. That doesn't mean as minorities, because I'm a minority, obviously. I'm a Black Hispanic female. I'm not against minorities. I'm not against immigrants. I'm not against the rest of the world. I'm simply saying I would like to get my house in order before I try to save the rest of the world. You know, we're talking about all these other wars. We're talking about Israel versus Palestinians. We're talking about the Russians versus the Ukrainians. And we got problems here. And it's not that my heart doesn't go out to the people who are suffering on either side of these wars. There are innocent people on both sides who are getting slaughtered because of these confrontations. And we're looking for the United States to solve these problems, and we got our own problems to solve. Sorry, but if you're failing your math test, I'm certainly not going to hire you to be my math tutor. Hello. Why the rest of the world is looking at the United States to save them from themselves or central bankers. That's what I think. But to save them from themselves or from the central bankers, when we are under attack by the central bankers, we are under attack by the elitists in this country. We are losing certain rights, privileges, opportunities. And as young people, when we don't see opportunity, we don't see the reason to try. So before I go any further into what I think is going to happen with young Americans and what that means, because who has been elected, because we have the Senate, hopeful we get the majority in the House. What does that actually mean for the United States, especially with the warning coming from Elon Musk? So before I go ahead and dive further into that, I'm just going to play a clip. This clip that I'm going to play you guys is from, I believe it's from the Today Show, so it's NBC. It's Hoda. I actually like her. I think she's got a great personality. I obviously disagree with her on some of the policy ideas that she has, but I like her personality. She's a lot of fun. It's a woman you can have a glass of wine with. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run this clip because in it, they actually go into what young Americans were thinking when they went into this election. Not to say that he got the majority of young people, but he did get way more numbers for young Americans this time around than we saw in 22 for conservatives. And you obviously saw in 2020, what I think would happen in 2020. But ultimately, young people have spoken and they've chosen Trump. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run this clip for you guys now because fascinating. And it's from NBC. So, there's something to that.
There were a bunch of surprises overnight. One of them is the youth vote traditionally goes to the Democrats. Not so much in this one.
Yeah, big movement here. Let's call up the exit polls from last night. Take a look. Okay. Voters under 30. And we got here a comparison to what happened last night and what happened 4 years ago. So last night, now, Democrats still won. We say Democratic candidate because it was Harris last night, Biden in 2020. So Harris wins the youth vote by 13 points. But 4 years ago, Joe Biden won it by 24 points. So basically.
So let's look at those numbers for starters. Okay. So obviously she got the majority of the young vote. That's not surprising. What's surprising is that it went from being over 20 points ahead of Trump in the youth vote in 2020 to now only 13 points. That's a major subtraction, okay? We're talking 11% decrease for Democrat support from young voters this time around. That's a big deal. It's a very big deal. It's like what you saw with black men specifically choosing to vote for Trump or not voting at all rather than voting for Kamala Harris. There's a big difference, a big shift going on that's actually taking place here. And I do think that that is something worth discussing. Why is it that young people decided to vote for President Trump? Right? I've said this in previous episodes. Young people are pissed that we can't afford our own places. We get a lot of crap talked about us because, we couch surf. We live with our parents. I myself am in the process of couch surfing. I bounce between my parents' homes to my siblings' homes. I still managed to get to the Kingdom Cigar Lounge. That's what you can see at the top of me right now, the Kingdom Cigar Lounge. I still have the time to produce my podcast and to produce podcasts for my clients and to work with them on the money coming in, coming out, how to produce and structure their stuff. So I'm finding ways to bring in some money, not a lot to live off of if apartments are going to be over $2,000 and it's a studio apartment. Paying for a used car, that's expensive. Used cars are not cheap. Even if you did want a hoopty, it's not cheap. I mean, trying to live a life of quality, even if it's not the highest of quality, even if it's at the highest of quality, it's still difficult. And young people don't like that. From COVID onward, it's been incredibly difficult. And I've seen conflicts and confrontations between family members and their children. Well, they're adult toddlers, we can call them. I'm an adult toddler. It's not something to be proud of. I'm just being honest about it. I am an adult toddler. I lived irresponsibly when I was younger. I had a job. I was working 2 jobs, making money, having fun, trying to save the capital to invest in a business that didn't really get the opportunity to be created or grow because of COVID shutdowns, lost opportunities, lost myself, lost my momentum, my productivity, my hope, all of those things that took place because of what happened during COVID to now being at the other end of it. And the jobs aren't there. Inflation's really high, trying to live a responsible life as a young adult, or if you're a millennial like myself, I'm 29 years old. It's not a good feeling when this is not the life that you saw for yourself. When I was 14, 15, 16 years old, I saw myself in my own place, working the job that I enjoyed and that I loved doing, being a part of entertainment, some of which has come to fruition. So, some details I was very specific on, others not so much. Some things I used to have, I no longer have. I used to have a place of my own until I didn't. Was roommating so that way I can save money and do better that way. But then that had to go away and ended up moving to Pennsylvania, which in hindsight, not so bad because I became a Pennsylvania voter. And I do believe that my voting did help Trump get into the White House. Side note. But this is part of what it is exactly that we're saying. Why such a huge decrease for the Democrat support from 18 to 29? Okay. That is my age right there, you guys. That's my age, 29, from 18 to 29. Why did we see such a decrease for Kamala Harris? Why? Let's go ahead and let Hoda and the rest and this gentleman here finish that up.
Got cut in half. And the other interesting part about this is overall, we had a gender gap last night, but it wasn't as big as people were expecting it to be. But it was massive among the youngest voters. Among men under 30, Harris won by 2 points. Wow. Among women under 30, Harris won by 36 points. So the gender gap is growing among the youngest group of voters. Overall, less Democratic, but look at that gap.
Thought it was also interesting that in the last election, Biden won women by a larger margin than Harris won women in this election. That's the case?
And it's not just that. In the last election, too, that share that Biden had among women was a bigger margin with women than Trump had with men. Last night, it was a wash. Trump won men by 10. Harris won women by 10.
Let's look back at the board and let's talk about Texas for a second, because Texas was one of those states that some Democrats were thinking maybe we can make some inroads here. What happened?
Yeah, Democrats had two hopes in Texas. In there.
Okay, that's enough of that. We don't need to talk about that. I don't really necessarily care to see what they think about the gender gaps. I think there was anything that was made clear in this election, the woke ideology, dead. Okay, you're not going to convince people to vote for you because you're a woman, because you're a minority. We don't care. Okay. We don't care. It is official. We've been voting for women in power for over 20 years. Okay. Nancy Pelosi, Maxine Waters. You have female governors, for goodness sakes. I mean, I love the conservative ones. Obviously, you have Huckabee, you have Noem, you have, even on the Democrat side, you have female governors. You have Katie Hobbs. I don't think she won that. I think that was Kari Lakes. But the fact that the two top candidates for the 2022 governor's race in Arizona were women, hello. So it's clearly not about gender. You're not going to convince us that America is innately sexist. No, no, no. Why such a big gap for young men versus younger women? Young women caught up in the schools, they're just fresh out of high school, going into the college system. They were prioritizing murdering their babies, where young men are prioritized on the same thing that older men and older women with responsibilities, women who are out of school like myself, who have other things to think about than killing their children. Okay, sorry, but murdering the offspring, not at the top priority right now. The Democrats thought that that was going to be their way into, at the very least, taking the Senate, maybe taking the House, maybe. No. Okay. We've got bigger fish to fry. People are less likely to murder their babies if the economy is doing well. And there's proof in the pudding on that. It's not even here in the United States, even, right? Hungary and a whole other country. They didn't abolish abortion. They didn't ban abortion. He simply, the person in charge, I believe it's a president or a prime minister, I'm not sure which one it is, what phrase it is, I should say, in Hungary, but he strengthened their economy and the abortion rate went down. Why? For the number one reason why people get abortions, because they can't afford the child. He improved the economy, less abortions took place. Some people need the financial incentive to not do the wrong thing. Right? And so young men, like older men and older women, care about the money in their pockets, care about opportunity, care about not having to compete with illegals for housing, for jobs. Okay. We believe in having higher earning wages. Like, there's no conservative who is mad at increased wages. This is what the left constantly says about us. Oh no, we need to increase the minimum wage. It's not about minimum wage. Okay. That's not what this is at all. How about you take the money that you are getting? If you're getting $7 an hour from working at McDonald's to $12 to $15, depending on the state that you're in, working at McDonald's, how about you save that money, get a second job if it's there, right? I shouldn't have to work 2 jobs. Maybe not. But here's the thing about it. The world's not fair. Life's not fair. If it means getting 2 jobs to pay your bills, and go for it. But we don't even have the opportunity to work 2 jobs. Okay. It has become a justification for young people for why we don't get out there to work hard. So that I don't want to. It's that the opportunity doesn't exist. If I don't see the opportunity, why am I even trying? Why are young Americans so eager to vote differently than what you saw in 22 and in 2020? Why? I'm sorry. I'm tired of being told that I'm stupid by the left, and it's not my fault that these jobs don't say you're hired. Your jobs report was a lie, Kamala. Your jobs report was a lie, Democrats. All these ghost jobs that don't get removed from Indeed, ZipRecruiter, all these other job search engines, ghost jobs. How many of them are actually real? How many of them are actually going to hire outside of their company as opposed to just pulling from one position to promote them? These are actual concerns that young Americans have, because during the Trump economy, I was working 2 jobs. I had the opportunity to save. I just chose not to. The only reason why I was unprepared for a crisis that was COVID was because I made stupid choices. Okay? This isn't that the jobs weren't there. It isn't that there wasn't money to be made. It was simply I was done with my money. But now it's not even so much that I'm done with money anymore. It's that it's hard to make it because I can't find the jobs. Get the high earning skills, they say. Okay, so I go and get the high earning skills. You're looking at someone who is a licensed life insurance salesperson, okay? I saved the money. I sold my mini motorcycle just so I can get the money to pay for these courses to get the job. And what have I heard? Nothing. So what have I done? I started working as a budget specialist. I started teaching people about what's so important about investing, how to save, what to look for in your insurance policies. I'm going to take the skills that I have, that I've learned, and I'm going to apply it in other ways. I'm interested in finances. That's my side hustle. I love doing podcasts. That's my side hustle. My brother builds a business. I get to work with him and do what I got to do here. In spite of a bad economy, in spite of the lack of housing opportunities, I'm still making it work. I'm still trying to figure it out. And making it work doesn't mean I'm where I need to be, where I want to be. I don't have my own place yet, like so many other young Americans. I'm couch surfing. Some people are just living with their parents. I'm tired of the Biden economy, the Bidenomics, the Kamala economics here. I'm sick and tired of bad economic policies being a reasonable justification for why we are not trying. It's not a problem that we are entitled. Okay, no, I'm entitled to every opportunity that this country can provide and that I work hard to get. Between it being there and my getting the work, my doing the work to get there is why I should get the reward. I do the work and the reward is there. The reward is the job and the paycheck. Okay. If I do the work to get the job and I hear the words you're hired, that's how this is supposed to work. Young people are not seeing that. Okay. Young men chose to vote for Donald Trump at higher rates simply because they want to make money. It's that simple. Young women who voted for Kamala at that 32% that you saw, that 32-point difference. Well, why did that happen? Oh, such a gender gap. Priorities are different. Young girls are not thinking about paying bills. They're not thinking about being responsible adults. No, they're thinking about enjoying their freaking hoe days. Okay. Young girls that age that voted for Kamala Harris. Okay. Why was that so high? They want to enjoy their hoe days. That's their priority. Their hoe days and the ability to murder their babies because they want to be hoes, not because they care about being responsible adults. Young men just want to make money. That has always been the case with money, with men. Okay. They've always want to gather resources because that is in their nature. That's just who they are. I don't care what generation of man you are. That's why you saw the number change. That's why you saw more women this time around vote for Donald Trump than you saw in previous elections in 22 and 20. Is that simple? What does this mean? Well, if there's anything to what Elon Musk was saying about things are going to get harder. Why do I believe that? Well, because when you look at the Federal Reserve, the centralized bankers, they have the power to create financial crises and prevent financial crises, which means it's intentional. Why hadn't we seen a larger recession during the Biden days? Well, they don't want it to happen under the Democrats. So no, if anything, they're going to push it, wait for Trump to get into office, wait for conservatives to get into office, just so that way they can get the people emotional. Oh, you see, under Trump, under the Republican leadership, it got worse. We can't allow ourselves to get emotional about that. If you're prepared for the retaliation of the central bankers and the establishment, just know, yeah, money, how they control our society, the federal US dollar, that's a big part of it. And so I suspect that we are going to see some attacks against our economy coming from within simply because they don't like the fact that we just had this sweep. What does that mean for young people? Well, if weak people create hard times and things are going to get harder, and hard times create tough people, it means young people are going to have to get tougher. And it's quite obvious to me that we've already seen the beginning of that. This America First sweep was not the end. It's only the beginning. Okay? It is only the beginning to something far more incredible. Okay? I'm incredibly hopeful and optimistic about what is going to be the case with the United States. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that Trump is the answer to all of our problems, which is why, again, this election is not about him. We all said in one big voice on election day, screw the elite, screw the college educated, screw those degrees, screw these so-called experts. The experts are why we have high inflation. The experts are why we could possibly end up in a financial crisis. The experts told us that Kamala was better, economically speaking, than President Trump, as if we don't have an actual presidential record to support our belief why we think he would be better economically speaking. The priorities of young people, specifically among young men, but also with some women as well, young women, we want money in our pockets. We want to be safe. I'm tired of couch surfing. I want my own place. I want to reap the benefit of my hard labor. As long as there is opportunity, I've got reason to try. Now, not every young American is fortunate enough to have business owners in the family. Not every young American is aware on how they could turn their hobbies into paying side hustles. And even then, it's still not enough. I have a side hustle. That's what this podcast is. This is one of my side hustles. It pays not a lot, though. Not a lot, which is why I always encourage you guys to support the show by Cash App me at hashtag #RShellBranch, because I just enjoy doing this. I love speaking with the people. I love explaining my thoughts and what I think is going to be the case with young Americans. I'm excited for the future. I'm vigilant because we are dealing with an enemy that committed 2 coups against the American people. We saw that with Biden, and we obviously saw that in 2020. Okay? We're dealing with an enemy that is okay with pushing propaganda and lying to its people. We are living with an enemy and fighting an enemy that wants to do whatever it takes to maintain their power. Okay? It is no coincidence, in my opinion, that a lot of the endorsements Kamala Harris got resembles that of the Diddy list. Okay? We've got the Justice League. They got the Diddy list. The contrast is remarkable. Okay? And I do not believe that it is a coincidence that this is the case. 2024 has been the year of revelation, to quote Cat Williams. This is not over. If you know your Bible, if you know your God, you know Jesus, you know some stuff is about to go down. It's not about to just be easy, okay? Trump is not here to solve all of our problems. We got to take responsibility for what we've allowed to happen. Okay? As young people, as older Americans, if you are a boomer, you slept on the enemy. Okay? You slept on him. It's how we got here. If you're a Gen Xer, you slept on the enemy. It's how we got here. As millennials, we slept on the enemy. It's how we got here. It's how we got here. We can sit here and just blame the old generation, and the old generation can point the finger saying that there's something wrong with us for not being self-sufficient, as if there aren't powers at play that affect our everyday lives. Okay? It was Jimmy Carter's fault why you will never get gas under $1. But it is because of Donald Trump why it was less than $1.50 in 2020. It's not like we as human beings can't create things that affect lives, both in positive ways and in negative ways. The Lord gave us power. How we use it, how we wield it, that is the free will that he gave us. That is our choice. We know this as Christians. Why are we pretending like that doesn't have any effect? Okay? Get excited. These are the things that we are looking forward to. And I am So excited about that. So looking forward to that. So thank you all for watching. Again, if you guys would like to support the show, you can support the show by Cash Apping me at #OurShellBranch. I am so excited and just galvanized about what is to come. Okay. It is going to get harder. I agree with Elon on that one. It is going to get harder, but that only means we're going to get tougher. We're going to get tougher. We're going to be better. We're going to be so much better off. Okay. Make good choices while you're in this hard time, because it is in those times that you are going to be judged. It's easy to do the right thing when everything's going well. When things get hard, when they get hard, who are you in those moments? Be honorable. Be your best. Do your best to be humble and responsible. Find out what you're good at. You don't know. If you are good at something, make it a side hustle. If you want to do some industrial podcasting, I could help you with that. Okay. Free consultations. You guys just reach out to me at my Gmail. Just send me an email. Let me know if you are interested in creating your own podcast. I am a podcast producer. I do the money of podcasts as a producer. I also do the structure of podcasts as a producer. Okay. There's the content itself, and then there's the financial understanding. How much money does it cost to start? How much money, how you should organize your accounts when it's coming in, what you can do to promote your business, your side hustle, so you can bring in those extra dollars. That's what I learned how to do as a producer. I love the arts and I love the money of what it comes with the art. So again, you guys can go ahead and you can reach out to me on my Gmail at branchrshell@gmail.com if you are interested in creating your own podcast, especially if you are a small business owner, a solopreneur with a side hustle, and you want to promote your sales. I can help you do that. So again, reach out to me at my Gmail account, branchrshell@gmail.com. You can also support the show by Cash Apping me at #OurShellBranch. If you love the content here, I love doing this. Continue to support the show. You can follow me on Twitter at Archie_finance. You can follow me on Instagram at Archie Financial. And obviously you can subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Definitely subscribe, share this video, like this video, so we can try to get these numbers going across. And definitely share this content, you guys, because I'm excited and I want to be able to communicate and build a community of content creators, of financial individuals, people who are trying to learn more about finances, insurance, mutual funds, budgeting specifically. I think with young people, we need to focus on budgeting, number one. Okay. And if you do have a side hustle, you want to build your business and you want to use content creation as a way to do that, I am a producer. It's literally my job. People pay me to do that. So definitely reach out to me. Thank you all for watching. I'm excited. You should be excited. Okay. I'm a hopeful realist. It is going to get harder. That's reality. But I'm hopeful about the future because we just had a sweep. Be excited. Be grateful. We are in the month of gratitude because it's Thanksgiving. Be grateful for everything, including the hardships, because we're going to be made tougher because of it. Thank you all for watching. You all have a good day. God bless and Kepler.